Hello and welcome to day 17 of Adventures in Tarot Casting. This has been such a fun series where I explore some of the casting boards that we create and show you a little demonstration on how to use them. This particular board I created recently. I just really was reevaluating what draws me in. I have it in two versions. This version doesn't have the pig in the cage with all the social media glyphs in it. This one, but the other subject matter is the same. So the idea is the things that hold our attention, what draws us in like a moth to a light, you know, and moths try to distinguish the light by throwing themselves at it. And it's like, so the death moth here, which, you know, I assume most people know what a death moth is, but I can't remember the scientific name, but the death moth in the wings shows the mountains, the moon, and I've got like ships going on the water and some spider webs. It's basically like, what is it that holds our focus that is almost detrimental, right? That is robbing us from the world outside of it, you know? And for me, when I created it, it was mostly to reevaluate the relationship that I have with social media and realizing how much time I spend scrolling and how these platforms, even though I acknowledge like Instagram is, for lack of better words, dying, it's spiraling the drain, I still find myself compelled to scroll and to post and to be on there, because until something better comes along, we just kind of stay where it is, you know. But what are we missing out on, right? So this board invites you to kind of take that idea and bring it into a reading. The big bulb is basically for any round deck. So today I'm going to be using the Tarot 1909 original, put out by Lewellyn, and that's going to be there. And then I'm going to use an out of hand card to help layer on that. And then I'm going to use just Lenormand around it and really show you how it can help us get to a deeper understanding. And then I'll be using the round portals as guideposts. So let's just get to it so I can talk us through this, right? So the light bulb is going to be that focus. Like, what is it that is the focus? What is the light, right? Like, what are we trying to throw ourselves at? It's kind of hard to shuffle around deck. There's a different method to do it. I usually just overhand a little bit. But there's no right or wrong. You could fan it and just pick one. But so what is it that is the light that we are drawn to, right? What is the purpose? You can assign any meaning to any of these positions, but for the sake of this reading, that's what this is. So let's cut it. And I'm using this placement first, even though it's a play on my daily casting. I'm using this placement first to give us the light, to give us what it is that's holding our attention. So we've got that Queen of Wands, right? So maybe there's a reason that we are drawn to this. Maybe it's because we think that if we put all of our time and energy into it, we are going to be seen as this leader, seen as this vibrant person, seen as this innovator, right? So that's the light. But too much of a light, like we need dark in order to get rest, right? So what is, in this case, what is the death moth? This could be us. Like, why are we flinging ourselves to this light? Why are we captivated, but also wanting to perhaps destroy it? And we have the Ten of Swords. And perhaps there's a reason. Ooh, what a combo, right? So that Queen of Wands being like, this is the light, this is what we're drawn to. And the Ten of Swords is we're realizing that maybe it's spotlighting all the ways that we perhaps don't feel we measure up, right? Because we think of swords and we think of how it is the mental realm. And while I did create this in the out of hand as somebody getting tattooed, a lot of times when people find themselves in my chair or find themselves at a tattoo shop or have that desire to permanently change their physique is because they've hit some sort of bottom milestone goalpost that they wish to remember, right? So feeling pain to remember that we're alive, getting something that is constantly going to be a reminder of who we are, right? So how can that be why we're drawn to the light? Maybe we get something in this space of just really needing to let go in order to become this person, but we still don't know how to reach that, right? Like, if this is our future self, if this is who we are trying to be guided towards, who is taking our attention, have we put them on a pedestal and not realized our own worth? You know, like there's a lot of give and take in that. And I mean, I can see that as imposter syndrome showing up. It's amazing how many people who I've met in tarot and just in creativity in general who have self-diagnosed imposter syndrome. I am not immune from that, you know, and when we feel low, we want to lash out at those who are higher, right? So that's I feel like these are kind of polar opposites, but they do exist in the same plane. It's, you can be the light, but you also feel this darkness, right? So let's bring in some Lenormand. I'm going to do the 3 on each side, and I'm going to lay them out how I do, because it also gives it another level of shuffling. So we have clouds, tree, fish, mice. Mice have been stalking me in my own personal readings. I'm doing Lenormand pulls this month, and I've gotten mice 3 times this week, so I guess there's a lot on my mind. Dog. And snake. Okay, so on the side of this, like I said, we're gonna do the 3 at the bottom, but that's gonna be like action steps after we talk this out. So we have these flanking this, right? And so what draws us in is that Queen of Wands energy. Like, and I feel like in this case, it's who we desire to be. It's the future self. It's what we're flying towards, right? And why are we flying towards that? It's because we're in this space of just feeling like not enoughness, like not measuring up, like wanting to make huge changes, altering, you know, when we reach the bottom, when we get back up, we don't want to be the same person that we were before. What brought us to this is just uncertainty, perhaps around our loyalties and even our finances, right? So we've got this abundance of uncertainty, and, you know, I'm loyal to this, but is it to a fault? You know, so it's kind of like there's just so much clouded judgment going on here, and it's coming in abundance, right? That makes sense. It tracks for feeling that 10 of Swords energy. I mean, traditionally we know it's a card of just, you know, seeing the light at the dawn, but like you're still experiencing that downness, right? And so going forward, we still have like these projected doubts. We have our growth being hindered by stresses, worries, and deceits. But we just feel like if we get here and we can get to this throne and we can get in this position, then maybe it will all be better, right? But that's still projection. We don't know, because we don't know. It's all hypothetical. So then the action steps that could be taken, we've got stork, moon, and scythe. So when we see these together, we've got moon with the stork and the scythe, and I read it like that, and I go, okay, for me, the moon is that spotlight. It's something that, you know, what is it that my spotlight is on? It's my vocation. It's how I show up in the world. It's my reputation. And my reputation is moving away from what I thought it was, and it's going to come in quick. Like maybe there's a part of me that I just have to let go of in order to become this, you know? So it's like flying towards this future version, but I have to get rid of some of my baggage. I have to get rid of the doubts, and I have to get rid of the the self-deceit and just the little issues, and just know, like, keep your eye on the prize and just go towards this position of being in my own power, or being in your own power. However you choose to hear this reading, you can replace me with you or why and all that stuff. But you look at this and you see them coming together, and you see how each is a three cards. So with Lenormand, you can kind of pair. You can say, okay, well, there's perhaps at the heart of it, there's somebody who's being kind of backstabby, somebody who behind your back is saying some things, and it's just a small obstacle because it's still just words, right? They're not doing anything overtly malicious. They're just, you know, I think of online how we have this ability to believe lies before we really look into the truth, right? So the action steps is talking about our reputation, how it is moving away. But in order to see a change, you're going to need to cut something out of it, you know, like cut away the parts that are no longer serving, right? And now we're going to bring in some guideposts. And again, like with these positions, say you like runes, say you like crystals, say you like any other divination tools, maybe you do bone casting, charms, you can put those in these corners. Like, I use the systems that I like. It's just what kind of pops up with me. I'm sure if you're on day 17 with me, then you've seen a common theme unfolding of which ones I prefer to use. But the purpose of today's is to show you how, even though this is a similar layout as to what I've already shown, you can implement just Lenormand, you could use runes, you could, like, it's your playground, it's your field, it's what you show up and bring to this space. It's not always about how I would say it. There's, you know, this is just how I do it. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just my comfort zone. It's how I found that this is my reading method, right? I beckon and implore you to find your own. And if you do it, tag me in a video. I would love to see. That's if you choose to share it publicly. So we have cow. Let me show you that. And we have chicks, and that's my mom holding a bunch of her baby chicks that she used to have. And that's, now we have a hen, and that is also one of my mom's old hens, Sammy. And bunny, rabbit. Okay. So what could these guideposts have for this reading, right? Like if we go back to the central focus of why we're being drawn to this light, like we want to be in that light, and we're bringing all of our baggage with us because it's shining this thing of where we feel we don't measure up, right? And again, I said we have to make some big changes in order to be this future self. Like if you want to be the person that you're currently not, like say you have this momentum of being like, I want to be a teacher, I want to be the best at this, I want to do this, I want to do that. You have to kind of look at what's holding you back. And I feel like that's what's holding us back on our wings of baggage right here. Like if these are the wings of the moth, there's some stuff going on and there's some false beliefs. And then the, you know, what's driving us, this wind, this tailwind that's coming in is saying, hey, you got to do some changes, right? Like in order to become this person, this authority, you can't be bringing this negative part of yourself. Like you have to make yourself whole first, or you're never going to be able to absorb the light and smash into the light and be the light. You got to make some serious changes, right? The guidepost, then we have the cow, and I love a cow because, well, who doesn't love a cow? You drive by a cow and it is an obligation to announce to the whole car that there is a cow in the field, you know. But a cow is a slow digestion of who you are. They're giant, gentle beasts. But I think about how all day to nourish themselves and to give their body what it needs to function and thrive correctly, they spend hours digesting. Like they literally chew their food and it goes through different chambers. So it's a slow process. So knowing that even though you feel like you're here and you feel like you're coming in fast, who you are going towards, it's going to be a slower process perhaps than you think, but that's okay. That's when the chicks come in and say, you know, on here the shirt says our wants are many, our needs are few, and then the chicks are there. And it's kind of saying, okay, whenever I see it, I think, don't count your chickens before they hatch, you know, all the little cliches that come into mind. But I also think about how there's a part of yourself that's fragile that you need to like hold this space for and nurture and treat that part of you, knowing that they have the potential to be something bigger, but right now you need to like treat it in a space of love and kindness, and just look at what you have, not what you think you need, right? And then we have the Sammy chicken, which was my mom's chicken, and she had a defect on her foot. And so instead of being part of the actual hen house, she ended up, you know, becoming kind of like a pet. And even though she had a disability and even though she had these limitations, she still lived a very full life. So it could show you like where you think you're having these limited beliefs, that it doesn't make your life any less valid. It doesn't make your life any less full. Focus on what you have and the slow process of who you wish to become, and also know that your end result may not be exactly what you envision, but is going to be perfectly for who you need, who you are and where you want to be. And then the rabbit, whenever I see that, I think of, you know, I think of just the abundance that this will bring into your life when you approach yourself in this loving, nurturing space. I think of how happiness has this ability to rapidly multiply, you know, so just keep that in mind as you're flying towards whatever it is that your focus is on. Leave your negativity at the door in order to be able to see that abundance flourish. So that is this reading that goes along with this board. Again, you know, if you're just joining me and you just happened upon this video, welcome. It's been a fun series. We are more than halfway through with the month. And I have many boards and I'm excited to do more demos. If there's one that you would really love to see that you see on my website or you've seen just through my art, please leave a comment and let me know, and I will make a point to address it. And you never know what's going to come next for me. I've been working on some pretty fun things and I'm hoping to have it done so I can reveal it during this series. So yeah, just stay tuned. But I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.